This might look just like a mound. Well, it is a mound, but it's a very famous burial mound of a very famous person. And we've been invited up to go and have a look. And there's a lot more to this place than first meets the eye. Oh, and just to show everyone where we're going on today's trip, there's Google Maps, South Wales. You can see the Severn Estuary at the bottom, not really the sea. It's one of the biggest estuaries in the world. And we're going up to here, a place called Mynyddislwyn. Mynydd meaning mountain or hill, and Islwyn church, so hill of the church. I want to show you, first of all, you can see this is the Fortress Glamorgan we've been talking about. You've got this ring of mountains creating this kind of area, and there's the rivers. Don't know how I did that. Not quite sure what I clicked on then. Right, so we need to go to is, hang on, there's the actual place we're looking for. I'll just zoom out to give you a clue how to get there. This is the key road, and you come off at the roundabouts, then up the lane. That's right, A472. Now, so the place Mynyddislwyn itself, you then have to follow the lane. As you can see, there's this lane. You come up there, winding by really sharp corners, really steep, very narrow. Keep going, past the Nantarodin, another interesting story. Keep coming down here, and eventually you will see this very startling Norman church. Although, as you'll see, it's built on a much earlier British site. And that's what we're exploring today. I noticed this place. I hope it opens again soon. It says it's open in the evening, so dine in. Well, there we are in these crazy times. That would be useful to know. Could have a bit of food, cup of tea, as you explore. Because here is the mound that we're talking about today. It does have a name on, it does mention it as Mynyddislwyn. What do you call it? There's a map reference. You're trying to find it. But what I wanted to show as well, just to give an idea. By the way, actually, while we got this on the screen, Sian mentions this, how the whole atmosphere, the spiritualness of this area has just been absolutely polluted. You got shooting on one side, shooting ranges and guns going off. This absolutely enormous solar farm, all messing up with the energies, and it's an important place. I know Sian goes there most days and finds it very spiritual, and I know going to other mounds and that, how, spiritual they can be, and you get a certain feeling about it. Which is being wrecked by everything that's going on here. Anyway, that's the way the world at the moment. But what I do want to show as well is something that struck me. This area, I got to zoom. This funny thing we do, you have to zoom in to get the places you want. If you not go too far. Yes, here we go. So around here, there are lots of places. If you've been following our research into the Babylonian links with South Wales, if you haven't, it might seem crazy at first. But if you go around the place names, especially around this area, oh, come on, find it, Ross. Like Mamhylards, which goes back to the ancient Egyptian, Babylonian for the cargo ship. You got places like Caerphilly, with Philly's the stag. All this area is right to Llanhilleth. All these places are mentioned on the Babylonian star map, Aberbeeg, and they're all places that have much older names than the Welsh translations we're given, and it's good support, if you like, for this idea of there being a migration of the British and Welsh from the Near East, ancient Babylon via Anatolia, and the journeys. You can follow the research. And one thing that struck me as I was looking for Mynyddislwyn is this place, Libanus Fields. How cool is that name? Because if you're not aware, the ancient Chaldean kings, if you go back, this goes back to the Bible, it's referred to in the Bible as well. Their name, one of the first founders was called Libanus, and they're much like the Romans, adding Caesars to their name, like Julius Caesar, and they all became Caesars. Libanus was a general. I was talking to Mariah about this as well, and she was saying that this three-consonant root is also a route for places like Lebanon. It's the same consonant roots, and even things like Albine, and could be very interesting to see how this ties in with the migrations, especially when you consider in this area how this part here is a big part of the ecliptic on the Babylonian star map, which is mapped out by the place names and mounds across South Wales. If that's new to you, it might blow your mind a bit. Just give people an idea where we are. This is St. Kenneth. Have a look. You'll find that the official story is it's St. Kenneth. Well, there's no Kenneth. This is the Senedd. That's a reference to where the old capital used to be. Like we have the Senedd, is the Parliament House, as it were, in Cardiff these days. So a lot of these names are not what you think they are, and Caerphilly should be, there's Caerphilly, and that could refer to the stag. All these names around here. This is slap bang. There you are, Basaleg, all these places that Rob Bevan and Steve Willets have been looking at. This is a fascinating area. But I digress for today. Let's get back to the burial mound of poor old Tudor and seeing who he is. Oh, I also meant to mention Sian Morgan. This is her place, where she goes to a lot. She's got some fantastic insights, and it's amazing how much of what she says ties in with what the research is now showing. We also had Dixie and Jeff up there, who have other things to say on this site, and I probably will be going up there again, hopefully. And it's worth a visit yourself. So that's where it is if you're looking for it on the map and want to have a look. All right, so over to the video. Right, so you come all the way up this place, the most spectacular views. This is Mynyddislwyn, all one word. Mynyddislwyn, bit of a mouthful. But Mynydd is the hill or mountain, and Eglwys is church. So he thinks the hill of the church. Now we've been called up here by Sian, and Sian points out there's a triangle of churches. And he also notices the mound, I think, drawn by Jeff Thomas on the previous video. So this is definitely a place people are aware of as being very central. The mound is absolutely stunning. And if you look at it, you can see the typical building where they dug out to make the mound. And of course officially it's described as Norman Mott and Bailey. I know I'd have one of those all up here. What we're going to try and do as well is map the location and see the significance from there. But this is a classic tump, as it is in Welsh, a tump, a mound. And a really stunning one.
More than just a burial mound for a king.
That's spectacular.
It was... I wrote a poem, I like writing poetry, and I wrote this poem. I was coming back, I go and sit over there to watch the sun go down. Yeah. And just over by there, you can see right across to Watchet. Yeah. And Weston-super-Mare. Yeah. And one night I was driving back, and there's a band of gold, because you can see the beacons from just by there. Yeah. If you come around by here. You won't see them today.
Bit misty, yeah.
Yeah, but they're through there anyway, the beacons. And I stopped by this gap, and I could see it. It was like my ancestors was talking to me, and I could feel the energy of our ancient ancestors. And I stopped here, and I had the feeling of a burial going on. And then when the funeral pyre was lit up, funeral pyres on all the mountains, not funeral pyres, but other beacons. Fires were lit up in solidarity. All right, we can't all come to the funeral, but we're all respecting that a member of our society has died. Well, that's massive.
Fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not just.
Oh, it's a great mound.
A fort, weren't we?
Well, a fort yesterday, yes.
This isn't a fort.
No. It's almost like there's a little walkway by there. Never noticed that before.
Yeah.
This is I think there's so much buried treasure up here. You know, when they had to hide their like ancestral swords and things like that. I think down the bottom was where we all lived in the winter, and we all lived up here in the summer. And I wrote another poem as well, and I did a bit of Googling, and we all walked up our Sahawi River all the way up to Tredegar, then up and over, and then on to the Mother Mountain River. And that's where we all gathered for a whole month of every summer. Brecon. All the Salers gathered there for their summer gathering, you know, just get new wives. And
what is what do you think Sahawi stands for in terms of meaning?
I don't know.
Because Seer is supposedly Shire, isn't it?
Right.
So is it the Shire of...
It could be.
Howie, and if so,
I know it's definitely not Sir Howie.
No, definitely.
But when you look at this, it is a bowl compared to...
Right, where's my tribe?
To the beat of a drum, close your eyes and dance. Light of this fire, go down deep into trance. Trance a connection with earth energy. Trance a connection to a separate reality. Karma has told me I've a lesson to learn. This is the reason I come to this place. She says I've hurt my soul with all the hate I've had for the white man's race. I've never been white before. My lives have always been tribal. We looked after the land before you came with your queen and your Bible. We all walked free, then you claimed sovereignty. You wanted more land and more money. I remember you murdered me. I thought I was safe, but I carried on running. You were far away, I couldn't hear you coming. Your gun shot me down, you hit my leg, then stood over me laughing, wanting me to beg. I tried to fight, I'm glad I was brave, because I didn't end up being your slave. Reincarnated, I came back white. I thought I had to carry on the fight. I fought with children as soon as I could walk, and argued with everyone as soon as I could talk. Now I know the history of where I am. I think karma has taught me a valuable lesson. Because I'm Welsh now, with pagan heritage. Same story, different language.
Very good. Very good. Diane. Now I really want to try and work out the shape of this. Work out if it's perfectly round. This is where the drones come in handy. We can actually see then if it's a round mound or if it points. We're just going to get their facing as well. See if it's north, east, west, south. Hi, just to jump into the video a little bit. I know people like a bit of background, helps these things make more sense. So if we go to Wilson and Blackett's book, Arturius Rex, page 193, this is the mention you find there of the mound, the tumulus of Tudor Mawr, Tudor the Great, alongside his church on Mynyddislwyn in Gwent. So he's down here as a son of Emrys Wledig, and father of Saint Canna of Cannatown, which is Canton in Cardiff, photographed by Chris Barber. Okay, so if we go to, this is the Oxford reference, to get an idea of who these people might be and put them into time scale. Emrys Wledig, the name, well, I wouldn't go too much with that, but anyway, also known as ideal, shadowy but historical. He is historical, so shadowy. I love the words they apply to British history. Anyway, shadowy but historical 5th century British commander known by Gildas, which is 547. We're not far off when these things happened. And Historia Britonum, 9th century, as Ambrosius Aurelianus. To Gildas, Emrys was the last of the Romans, in that he led Romanized Britons against the Saxon invaders under Hengist. Recent scholarship asserts that there are two men named Emrys, possibly father and son, whose stories were conflated. The elder Emrys struggled for power with Vortigern after 430. I think quite there, they might be mixed up there. While Ambrosius the younger, Aurelianus, began a new British resistance that Gildas regarded as a continuation of the earlier. Interestingly, Emrys was thought to be at the Battle of Mount Badon, which ties him in with King Arthur. So Emrys is also, this could be coincidence, because I think they're, anyway, we'll just read it out as it is here. Emrys Ambrosius is the name Historia Britonum gives to the mysterious boy who confronts Vortigern in the building of Dinas Emrys. If you know the story of the two dragons underneath the footings where they're building the castle. Now we also come on to Canna. So Saint Canna was a 6th century mother of saints and a nun in South Wales. The unreliable Sian Morgan, who they love these adjectives, you know, shadowy, unreliable. Well, you know, they don't seem to apply this to other historical sources, you know, like the writings of Julius Caesar, which are incredibly dubious, for example. Anyway, so Canna was a daughter of the Breton king Tudor. Interesting. Breton, of course, being a link to the area Brittany these days, which was also British, all part of the same empire, the same kingdom around the west side of Britain, cutting across Devon, Cornwall, over to Brittany, or Breton, where they still speak a sort of form of Welsh or British tongue there. Although both languages are being changed by their governments and they're getting harder and harder to understand each other. 80 years ago, no problem. Anyway, she went to Wales with her husband Sadwn and his son Crallo. After the death of Sadwn, she remarried and became the mother of Saint Elian Gemiad. The interesting bit here ties in with what Wilson and Blackie was saying. Her name also appears as part of 2 Cardiff districts, Canton and Pont Canna, for Canna's Bridge. There we are, 25th of October, we just missed it. There's also a Masonic Lodge named after St. Canna, so there you go. Well, this is north, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know, I bought a compass and I forgot to bring it up with
No,
me.
the church is east-west, okay? The church is east-west. So where you are from the mound is north. You're the north side of the mound now. The church is facing east-west.
The other thing...
I'm just trying to check here, because all the time if it's a burial mound, quite often they build a church to be southwest, but that's exactly, isn't it? It's not a bit south, it's exactly south of the church.
Is it? What does that mean?
I don't know.
So different to the others, is it?
Well, the burial ones usually are going to be on the west. And they put the church would come, it depends on the era.
This was your first, next to the stone circle, and then that came.
Yeah.
So where was the stone circle then?
Where the church is.
Right, the same place, yeah?
Stone circle down to make the
The church, yeah.
And that might not have been the original.
It actually says 11th century church built on a 6th century site. So the site obviously goes back a long, long way back.
Well, the site might go back pre, 6th century.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear about the mound in Ledbury?
No, I'll come in nearer, hang on.
Is this listed on Cadw's map?
Now from by here it looks oval.
I'll have to check that, won't we? Now this...
From by here it looks...
It doesn't look round anymore, does it? This way would be west then. Tim, that would be west then?
Yeah.
Well, it's like the pointy end to me.
If it is, yes, it's slightly over. But we got to remember is this could have been
1, 2, 3, 5, 6.
You can't usually see these dumpsters.
13. Let's go to what I would think looks like the back of the boat.
Usually and I always used to sit there to watch some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, don't look round to me. It's about 15 yards by 13 yards, I make it.
This solar farm now goes across.
Oh, these are disgrace, these are.
And on the other side of the solar farm there's a gun club.
Yeah.
Now we was walking up through there's a what's it called? Public footpath up behind the church. So we was walking up there one year to walk down.
Unfortunately, we've got the big blinking solar farm there, messing up all the... So we've got the solar farm there. It's on the... Well, to me it looks like this end of the... looks much steeper end. If we were looking for this as a burial mound, it seems the wrong side of the church. But there again, I'd like to check exactly with a drone or an aerial photograph. It seems the front of the boat goes that way, which is pointing due west. What a commanding view of everything.
Yeah.
So you'll explain to us, is this a trinity of churches, yeah?
There is Blackwood.
Right.
That, you can just about see the blue. That's Kevin Forest Leisure Centre. Now, it's somewhere along that.
And which
way.
church is that one? What's that called?
Bidwelty.
Oh, that's Bidwelty, okay. Well, we can put it on the map later, yeah.
I'm not
Bidwelty.
sure if you'd have a better view from the top of the church.
Can we go up there?
If it's open, they might let us up there, yeah, they're quite
Well, I think
nice.
everything's closed at the moment, isn't it?
Oh, aye.
What are those hills up there then?
Which one?
Which hills up there?
That's the Rhondda going through there, and that's the beacons going through
That's
there.
the start of the beacons. I didn't realise we were so far north.
Yeah, no, you can see the beacons, you can see the going
Yeah,
like that.
Big dome shape of them, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You
different-
get more of a feel for it at twilight. That's my favourite time, is twilight.
And you get the shadow of the hills and everything.
Yeah,
don't
you get all that white mist rising up, and I don't know, the sun setting catches it, and you can see the outline of every hill then, instead of it looking just like one big.
So the three aerials on the horizon there, just the other side there, that's the Taff Valley, is it?
Right, that's Machen Mountain.
Okay.
Over the other side of that is Caerphilly and Machen.
Okay, yeah.
So
And then the other side of that again, you're down into
That's towards my neck of the woods.
that's right, down into the Taff Valley.
Wow, isn't it remarkable? Beautiful place.
it is, yeah.
This wall appears to go all the way around. You say this wall goes all the way around, Sian, yeah?
I think so.
Look at the width of it. This isn't a sheep wall. This isn't like those walls you see there for keeping the farmer's stuff in, you know?
Oh Christ, there's my cap. Good job I come back down here.
You know, it's not like these walls. It's not a farmer's wall. This is 3 feet wide, this is.
Nah, come on, let's walk all the way around.
Come on in.
I haven't done this for a fair few years. Tim will be caves in us.
Wondering where we are. Yeah, you can see the stones poking through.
Ancient remains.
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, you can see the stones poking through.
Yeah.
A lot of effort's going into that.
Hawthorn, goddess tree.
Oh, it's hawthorn. I was wondering what it was, right.
Maybe it was Estimable.
Ah, hang on. Here we go. That's what I'm looking for, as an entrance, look.
Yeah, I said that earlier.
Sorry, I missed. Oh.
Okay, Bob.
So you're looking through a camera when you're walking on these bumpy grounds.
Right, come on now. Do a reenactment.
Get the spirit of it, that's it. That's how we're going to do our proper respects.
Oh, it's the first time you've been up here, guys, is it?
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, that's what I said too. See, I got in contact with him, asked if he'd seen the old burial mound for this church.
Right.
And because they hadn't, we arranged to meet up here.
it's like, let's do it, yeah. Aren't they fabulous, these old trees?
They are, aren't they? Well, the insides have just started going in that one.
Do you watch this programme with Urban Explorers? There you go, there you
So here we are, this is the site. And it's Tudor, or Tudor. There's the English spelling, Tudor. Ancient site going back to the 6th century. There you go, you see. Tudor, so it's a Welsh before it was Norman. And there we have St Tudor himself, who's blessed us with a visit. Classic Welsh St Tudor. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed that and found it informative. Britain's Hidden History Group has so much more going on our YouTube channel. The one you're watching now, there's a live stream, 8 o'clock UK time every Sunday. We speak to people like Wilson and Blackett, reprint their old books and help produce new ones. We go researching to the tops of mountains, all the way down to the bottoms of caves. Busily recording the books, you can listen to them as well, and looking at mysteries and working out what we're not being taught in schools and preserving it, because the physical and written evidence is rapidly disappearing. You can also find out how to read ancient writing and hieroglyphs using the Welsh language. It's amazing. There's a Facebook group where this is being discussed. Along with a website, you can buy the books and help us. Also, as you can see, there's now a Patreon page where just a few pounds a month will make all the difference in trying to keep the project going and preserve this history for future generations, and also to find out for ourselves what is going on, what is Britain's hidden history. So until the next time, Heddwch!